Melody Shari is not just about her, but about the entire cast of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, and the way the show has changed ever since she left. And before you even think of clicking off, make sure you stay all the way until the very end, because the twists and connections I'm about to explain will completely change the way you see the show. The cast and even the real reasons behind why people are still asking for Melody's return. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see why this is not a simple yes or no answer, but a question that touches every single person involved in the show. From Martell Holt to Maurice Scott, from Marceau Scott to Kimmy Scott, even to Arian, Curry, and Miss Marlene. So watch closely, because every detail matters. Now, here's the thing. When Melody Shari said she was done with the show, many people thought that was it. Done deal. No turning back. And honestly, who could blame her? She had been through the ringer on camera. She had to sit there and watch her marriage fall apart in front of the entire world. She had to stand while Martell Holt's long and messy affair with Arian Curry played out in whispers, lives, and arguments. She had to deal with the cast members who sometimes acted like she was the problem instead of the person who was hurting. And after all of that, she finally decided to step away. But the big question that fans, insiders, and even the producers can't let go of is this. If Melody Shari was done, if she walked away, why do they want her back so badly? Why are the same people who made it clear they could move on without her now whispering that they need her presence again? This is the question that makes the story so much more than drama. It's about power, it's about control, and it's about ratings. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll see the full picture, because the way all of this ties together will shock you. From the very beginning, Melody wasn't just another cast member. She was a cornerstone. Think about it. And Martell Holt brought their business, their vision, and their marriage to the table. That was the heartbeat of the show. Without that foundation, things already started to shift. And you can feel it when you watch recent episodes. Something is missing. The spark, the raw emotion, the way Melody carried herself and spoke up, when nobody else with those things can't be replaced easily. Maurice Scott has his storylines. Marceau Scott brings his personality. Kimmy Scott has always been that calm, balanced voice, and Martell Holt, of course, has his never-ending drama with Arian Curry, but none of it hits the same way without Melody there. And here's where it gets complicated. Some of the very same people who now want her back are the ones who seem so eager to push her out in the first place. That's not just ironic, it's revealing. So ask yourself, do they really miss Melody Shari, the person? Or do they miss the drama, the ratings, and the control her presence allowed them to have? This is where we need to slow down and really think it through. When Melody was on the show defending herself, calling out the truth, and refusing to be silenced, many cast members acted like she was the problem. Her voice wasn't always welcome. Her boldness and refusal to just sit quietly didn't sit right with people who preferred to control the narrative. Back then, they made it seem like the show would be fine without her. But now, the tune has changed. And if you've been paying attention, you already know what I'm about to say. The reason they want her back has less to do with reconciliation and everything to do with control. Let me break it down. If Melody returns, even in small appearances, they can keep her tied to Martell's name. They can keep her tied to the drama. They can keep her tied to the same storylines that made fans tune in week after week. And that's the truth. Drama drives views. Drama fuels ratings. And without Melody, that fire isn't burning as hot. Stay with me, because later we're going to connect this with the so-called receipts that have been teased but never revealed. And that's when you'll see the whole game. Let's talk about those receipts for a second. How many times have we heard people say, I got receipts, I got proof, I know the truth? Whether it was about Maurice Scott, Marceau Scott, or even Martell Holt, there have always been whispers. Receipts are dangled like bait, but rarely are they ever put on the table. Why? 'Cause it's not about honesty. It's about power. Holding. Onto receipts without showing them is about having control. It's about being able to say, I got something on you, but I'm not going to show it yet. And that's exactly the kind of game that keeps the show going, but also keeps the truth hidden. Now imagine Melody back on the show. Do you think she would sit quietly if someone tried to twist her story? No way. She would say, bring the receipts right now. Let's deal with it. And that's exactly what some people don't want. They don't want Melody exposing half-truths. They don't want her demanding full transparency. But that's also exactly what fans want. And that's why her absence is so deeply felt. Now let's dig into Morris Scott for a moment. On the surface, he positions himself as the logical one, the one who tells the truth, the one who points things out. But fans have seen a different side. They saw the way he handled his relationship with Kiowa, his ex-wife, and the way he treated his son Jalen. Some people say it looked more like control than love. And when you step back, you can't help but notice a pattern. Morris often projects, pointing out when others aren't being honest. But could it be that he's hiding his own cracks? If the rumored receipts ever came out about him, would Morris still stand tall? Or would his entire image crumble? These are the questions fans whisper about. And these are the questions Melody herself would not shy away from if she was sitting across from him on set. That's why her absence makes things too easy for certain people. Now, let's turn to Marceau Scott. Marceau is slick with his words. He has this way of turning serious situations into jokes, brushing off accusations, and pretending like everything is fine, but fans aren't fooled. For years, they've been saying there's more going on with Marceau than he's admitting. Even Martell Holt himself has dropped hints about things he supposedly knows. But the receipts never seem to fully come out. Imagine if they did. That would completely change the dynamic of the show. And if Melody were present, she wouldn't let him skate past with jokes. She would press the issue, call it out, and demand the truth. That's the kind of presence that keeps people accountable. And that's exactly why producers know her return would reignite the fire. And of course, we can't talk about this without circling back to Martell Holt. Martell is a unique case because his story is forever tied to Melody's, no matter how hard he tries to move on. His name and reputation are linked to her. Long-term affair with Arian Curry didn't just damage his marriage, it damaged his image in front of millions of viewers. He has tried to present himself as moving on, but the late-night lives, the back-and-forth energy, the co-parenting, tension, it all shows that he's still caught up. And here's the truth. When Melody left the show, part of Martell's story lost its impact. Without her, it doesn't sting the same way. That's another reason why people push for her return. Because with Melody back, the Martell drama would once again explode into the spotlight. But the question is, why would Melody put herself back? In that situation, when she's already moved on? Why would she return to a fire she has already survived? That's the complexity here. And if you're still watching, stay with me, because by the end of this video, we'll bring it all together in a way that will make you see why this debate will never truly end. We also have to mention Miss Marlene, Martell's mother. She has made it clear that she still longs for the family to go back to the way it once was. She hasn't fully embraced Arian Curry, and she knows deep down the damage that has been done. That speaks volumes. Even within Martell's own family, the idea of replacing Melody isn't fully accepted. Melody's influence, her presence, and her voice still hang over everything.